My question is really more of technique. In the morning, I get up and I do kind of a structured focus wheel to really kind of set my morning off. And in that, sorry?
Before you go further, we'll be very brief. Are you doing a focus wheel that's a really easy, simple one that is easy to feel good around, or are you trying to focus something that's out of alignment into alignment? We want to ask you a question or two, and it may seem defiant of our own encouragement to you, but we're going to do it anyway. Mm-hmm. When you wake up and you feel sort of fuzzy or cranky, and cranky's the part that we want to focus on just for a moment, do you have a sense of what's happening in the world or in your life that makes you cranky? In other words, is there a cranky topic?
Yeah, the TV. So generally I don't watch the TV, but sometimes I do, just to get the weather or something.
So would you say it's world events? Are
Sure.
they political in nature? Is it those things that are annoying over which you have no control? Is that what makes you cranky?
I can certainly turn to those channels, but no, not.
So you just feel cranky and there isn't anything that you're really able to identify, relate it to?
Yeah.
All right, we have another question for you. As you're moving through your day and you find yourself really feeling cranky, what usually just happened? What kind of thing happened?
I have a conversation or an email correspondence, or I will pick up I'll pick up a piece of project. I'll do a task on a project, and I haven't lined my energy up to do the task, so I'll feel.
So does it feel to you that your crankiness is related to the failings of other people?
No.
Or to things that you're irritated about yourself about?
Well, they're both. I work by myself, so mostly what I'm dealing with is stuff that I've generated.
Well, the reason we're asking is because, and in some ways we spent some time on it and activated it, but it was already active, so no harm done. Sorry, folks. But the reason that we were asking is because in some ways it feels to you, to all of you maybe, that we're asking you to do something that you just can't do. If you wake up and you feel cranky, in essence it's like, Abraham, I've fallen out of the airplane. I don't have a parachute. What should I do? And we say, it'll be over in a little while, after a sort of cranky day. Mm-hmm. But tomorrow, if you wake up and you're reaching for that high-flying disc, mm-hmm. and you still feel sort of fuzzy and cranky.
Well, it's not so much that I feel cranky every day. I will feel kind of just disengaged or not really wanting to go to work.
Well, things are going to pick up for you and you'll begin to feel more momentum going. But the reason that we're taking our time as we step into this is because it's like if the basis is laid in a sturdy, structurally sound way, then what you build on after that will sustain. Mm-hmm. We've written so many books with so many processes, and every process is written to help someone like what you're describing just feel a little better. And so we've said all kinds of things like reach for the best feeling thoughts. But today we want to approach it in a different way. Imagine a cork floating on the surface of the water. You can hold it under the water. That's what cranky is. When you let go of it, it'll bob right back up to the surface. And we want you to feel that your natural state is that buoyant state of non-resistance. And we want to emphasize that unless you're doing that thing you do that is introducing the resistance, then, in other words, we're mixing metaphors, but the buoyancy will happen unless you're doing something to hold the cork under the water. Right. So this falls in the same subject as the affirmation subject that we had earlier, where when you're efforting, you're not allowing. So Esther's been asking some similar questions of us because it's occurred to her that sometimes she can just get on that high-flying disc and then all kinds of really interesting things ensue, and it moves from interesting to satisfying to soothing to loving to passionate to fun, but it's all on the high-flying disc while the momentum of it can move about a little bit. And then recently she's been doing focus wheels. In the last week, she counted this morning 184 focus wheels. She has a computer program so that when something occurs to her, she can sit and make it happen very fast. So now she is saying to us, Abraham, because she's really catching the spirit of what we're saying here. If you get on the high-flying disc, meaning if you find some way to just feel lighthearted or fun or easy, then, and maintain that for 17 seconds, momentum will happen, and then more and more and more until that high-flying disc will begin to gather enough momentum that you will really feel interested. Let us maintain this momentum just for a little bit here. So she began asking the question, am I efforting with these focus wheels? And our answer to her was, if the focus wheel is flowing easily, then it's positive momentum building. If you keep getting stopped, if you're laboring at it, then the focus wheel isn't serving you. And it's really not serving you in this month that we're asking you to give yourself of seeing if you can't start the day on a high-flying disc. So, are you annoyed yet at the term high-flying disc? You should be, because get on the high-flying disc, 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 get on the high-flying disc. But we really mean it. So, what are you going to do today? I'm going to get on the high-flying disc. Well, then what? Well, I didn't think beyond that. I'm just going to get on the high-flying disc. Well, don't you have other things to do? Yes. Are you going to do any of them? I'm just going to get on the high-flying disc. Well, what will that yield to you? Well, I'll know when I get on the high-flying disc, but that's my dominant intent. I'm just going to be as light and as free-feeling as I can. Well, how does that translate? Well, we'll see how it translates. But Abraham, how do I get on the high-flying disc? So I'm not on the high-flying disc, and if I try to get on, I'm efforting too much. So how do I get on the high-flying disc? Well, you were born on it. Yeah, but that was a long time ago. No, we mean this morning you were born on it. This morning you were born again on the high-flying disc. You were. You were until you got hold of your ornery thought. Or your fuzzy thought, which you've been practicing a little bit. So if you will accept that when you wake up, your potential for being there is there, and you will just stop and say, it's a good day, or the bed feels really good, or this could be fun. Just something that sort of acknowledges that you're there. We promise you, do that tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day and the next day and the next day. In about 30 days, we will not be having this conversation. Now, if you wake up and you're not on the high-flying disc and you don't get on the high-flying disc, there's lots of books that you can go. Every bookstore has all of them, and you can look up all of those processes that we've written so long ago that help you move up the emotional scale. We're just telling you, it's so much easier if you accept that you have the probability of finding pure emotion early in the day, and that if you will, once you're there, then milk it by getting more specific. So what we really want to say to you is, unless you know you're feeling good, don't do a focus wheel. And so Esther said, well, wait a minute, Abraham, you taught me to do focus wheels in order to get feeling better. And we said, well, the reason the focus wheel worked, the whole point of it was because it asks you to take things that you already believe that are not contradicting you. It asks you to look for those things that had no resistance and to focus upon them. So you just have to play with that personally. So for example, Esther, so something happened, and plants that Esther had assumed were being watered by a sprinkling system weren't. And so the plants are laboring. In some cases, they didn't make it at all. And so Esther wants to do a focus wheel about how to feel good about plants that didn't make it. And we say, we don't think that's a good subject for a focus wheel. We think that's a subject to just let lie dormant. If you want to focus upon how many beautiful plants there are, then that's a different subject of a focus wheel. Are you getting the sense of what we're talking about? You want to do anything and everything you can to perpetuate what feels good, and let dry up anything and everything that doesn't feel good. All right, so we've laid a good basis. Now let's talk.
Okay. So generally what I do when I'm doing this in the morning is I generally end up in a fairly clear, focused, flowing, easeful state. So,
Good.
And then, you know, I'll do my segment intention.
All right. So you woke up fuzzy and cranky, but you did a focus wheel, and now your energy is flowing. So that's an effective use of a focus wheel. You didn't exactly wake up on the high flying disc, or as soon as you were aware you weren't, but you managed to get there anyway.
Right.
We just want to lay one easy thing over it. Just don't labor too hard on that. And we almost want to say, in fact, we almost want to say it so much we're going to say it. We'd almost rather, no, we really would rather you wait until tomorrow for a few days rather than doing a focus wheel today. We want you to give your waking up that way a chance, because we know for sure you do wake up that way. We know for sure that you do wake up on the high flying disc. You kill it usually before you brush your teeth, but you don't have to if you're aware. If you're aware.
So the reason, so I'm going to do that, and the reason. And part of why I've kind of made this my daily ritual is that, again, I work for myself. So I don't have anybody telling me, oh, you got to do this or that. I kind of have to make up my day every day.
All right. So you want to get on the high flying disc and feel inspiration, because there are a lot of things you could do that will yield you little results.
That's exactly right.
There are some things that you can do that will yield you huge results.
That's right.
We just want you to give waking up feeling that way a chance, just for a few days.
Okay.
We would like you to all be pretty much unproductive for a week or two, on your way to alignment that will serve you forevermore. Because your action is distracting you from the high-flying disc that you have access to, because you don't know you have access to it because you hit the floor running every morning. You got so many things that you're supposed to do. And we're not saying quit your job, just go and lay low. We're not saying that you can cease action. Of course you can't. We're just asking you to give this notion, this absolute theory, this absolute knowledge that we are presenting to you a chance. You wake up reborn every morning. And if you will milk that feeling of worthiness and adventure and eagerness, if you'll just reach for it, the inspiration to act will be so powerful that you won't be trying to fill your day with things. You won't be trying to motivate yourself. You'll be inspired from the inside out, inspired from the high-flying disc. You buy that? Good.
That's my question. Thanks.
Yeah.